Usually whenever there's like a big new content creator on any sort of platform, I do my best just to stay as far away from them as humanly possible. Just because I think a big thing about them is that they become trendy to like. So it just kind of becomes like a mass of just people moving towards this person to watch them and think they're trendy. But like I really don't like hate on these people or anything. I really don't just look badly upon them. I just kind of try to stay away from it and just let their entire like community around them, their vibe around them develop before, maybe I give them a little bit of a try. And it's probably like a weird way to look at content creation, but most of the time it kind of just allows me to not get more invested in someone than I should. When it comes out, they're kind of a not a suboptimal person, I guess I'll put it that way. So the reason why I started the video the way that I did, and kind of just like the topic of what I want to say today, is about the streamer, the burnt peanut. Now this is someone who, once again, I kind of stayed as far away from it as humanly possible. It looked like his content is just something that I really did not care about in any way. And I tried to avoid any and all clips on it just because, I really didn't hate the guy, but I just think that his content is not my type of, content that I want to consume. And then about like a week or two ago, I saw a clip of him that kind of irked me a little bit. It wasn't the biggest deal, but it was about someone who I guess in his chat said like the USA is a joke. And then he kind of went on like a long little like a rant, or like not even a rant, like a minute long just like monologue about why that statement's wrong or whatever. And like that wasn't really a big deal to me. It is kind of like losery, I guess. It is kind of like defensive of the United States, which like it's fine. It was kind of like a frat bro take. It's kind of like a common white dude take that I would, see all the time. It's an old time take that like it wasn't anything too provocative that I saw or anything that I really like cared too much about. But then about in the last 24 hours, I don't know what happened on my algorithm, but I've been kind of getting an influx of clips on the burnt peanut that kind of made me want to look a little bit more into the type of content that he is or that he produces. And unfortunately, a lot of what I've been seeing is stuff that doesn't really make me feel any better about him in any way. So one example of the content I've been kind of seeing about this is this clip right here on Twitter that says the burnt peanut got so pissed he started dropping slurs. And obviously I give the video a little bit of a watch. Maybe I thought it was like someone's joking or it's a little bit of a joke. But watching the video through kind of doesn't really help him out much either. So I'm going to play a little bit of it and kind of let you get the idea of what, this video is about.
They're racist! Peanut racist! That's it, I'm using a slur. That's it, I'm using a slur. I'm using a slur. That's it. That's it. Fuck those flimsy pieces of... I hope those fucking die.
Now, obviously, he didn't say the slur. It's like we can see his mouth right there. It didn't move. So I'm not going out here and saying, oh, the burnt peanut is ripping slurs online to a bunch of people. I'm not saying that in any capacity. But the thing is that this humor obviously panders to a specific type of people. One, a younger audience. A lot of younger kids, kind of 13-year-old white people, if I'm speaking from experience, think this type of humor is kind of the funniest shit of all time, and I think it's just the piece de resistance that comedy can produce. And like obviously, I'm not gonna delve too deep into the issues of saying I'm the racist peanut and then saying I'm dropping slurs, because I think with like I trust you as a viewer enough to have the common sense to understand what is going on wrong here. And I thought maybe this would be a one-off thing of just like maybe a joke that like kind of flopped a little bit or just went a bit too far. And maybe this isn't the best representation of the Burnt Peanuts content. Then I learned about something that the Burnt Peanut does called Slur Saturday, which kind of doesn't really help his case in any capacity. So I'm gonna let this clip play out a little bit too, just to kind of see that I'm not making this shit up. And he does celebrate, and he does say this quote of "Happy Slur Saturday."
Happy Slur Saturday! Happy Slur Saturday, Mr. John! Happy Slur Saturday! You fucking... Happy Slur Saturday!
So once again, obviously, he didn't say the slurs. But the fact that you have like kind of a running joke with your community about, or not, maybe not a running joke, but you have a something that can come with that you have like set up a soundboard and reaction shit to called Slur Saturday is also a bit, rough. But once again, double benefit of the doubt on him on the Slur Saturday stuff. Maybe, and all this slur stuff, I guess, maybe this was just like, him having a bad bounce off of the chat. When you're streaming, you like to riff off the chat, try to feel the vibe, try to move the stream around a little bit. And maybe this was just him in the moment, like responding to a message that he shouldn't have responded to and kind of bouncing off it in a wrong way. So actually, but if you go to his account, he is tweeting about it himself on his own Twitter account. And so, like, I mean, this might be a crazy thing to say, but I feel like it's not really good to be celebrating the idea of Slur Saturday and just joking about ripping slurs the entire time, or maybe not the entire time, but the idea of just like it's Slur Saturday is, not good in my opinion. And I will say, looking at this tweet, not surprising that this is the type of humor that he fits into and that he like, slips himself into this little niche of comedy. And it's not even a niche at this point. He's probably one of the bigger streamers currently right now. But like it's just kind of crazy that this is like one of the bits that he has going on in his chat and in his stream that, it's Slur Saturday, where apparently it's just him and his chat. They could just say slurs. Even though, once again, Burn Peanut himself, I will say, from the videos that I've seen of him, have not said slurs. So I'm not saying he said slurs. I'm just saying he has a stupid joke surrounding the idea of saying slurs. But a video that kind of really, put a poor taste in my mouth is this one right here. Now, obviously, being the political science major that I am, I'm a bit more attuned to this type of stuff right here. And I will say, I will let you know, this video was probably made a lot more in bad faith than how I'm approaching this. But this also just kind of is a not good clip for, at least in my opinion, for the Burn Peanut, where he's talking about Donald Trump. And so here you go.
The president that you voted for, I like that guy. And your ideals you believe in, those are good. I like those too. Remember that, okay? Remember that about me.
And so then this video goes into like a little edit that's kind of slandering him and like taking, I think, one clip out of context where it sounds like he said a slur. But with the idea of Slur Saturday being a thing, maybe he did say it. But once again, I'm going to go off on a limb and just said he made like a rough sound that sounded like it. And it's just amplified by the fact that he has something called Slur Saturday. But, he's talking about the president that you voted for, Donald Trump. Obviously, he likes that guy. And in case, for some reason you don't know Donald Trump, so this is a big one right here that is, in the headlines. It's 3 days ago at this point about, the guy that he likes, the president that you voted for. He likes that guy. He likes this guy right here. He likes this guy right here. He's a big fan of Donald Trump, and he likes the ideas that Donald Trump stands for. Now, obviously, I know this isn't going to be like the most unanimously favored video of all time. I know a lot of people are supporting the Burn Peanut. Obviously, if you look at the amount of numbers that he has, even though there has been accusations about him view botting, I really do not give a fuck about view botting in any way. I mean, and I feel like if you do it, you kind of a loser. But I'm not accusing anyone of view botting because it's just such a annoying argument they get into where just like is the clashing of egos and like whoever has the smallest ego, I guess, or biggest ego. I don't even know who wins in this point. I think everyone loses if we argue about view botting online. I think it's just an unwinning situation for legitimately everyone involved. But aside from that view botting tangent, it is unfortunate to see like this big of a streamer having like this kind of not good of content, not even like from a substance standpoint, not like the game he plays or the way like he is loud and annoying. I don't really care if he does it or not. But the fact that, he has like Slur Saturday apparently where he jokes about saying slurs and he just does that the entire time. And he also is like kind of a meat rider to Donald Trump, who once again, as we know, very likely in the Epstein files and is holding them back, even though he ran on it the entire time and was legally forced to have released them like 2 months ago and still hasn't done it. It just kind of like makes an amalgamation of just really shitty content and takes and clips and videos and posts surrounding the Burn Peanut that it just kind of just leaves them to be a very, very easy person to not like. Once again, I started with a video off. I was completely agnostic to the Burn Peanuts content. I really didn't care whether or not he was a big streamer. I think he won like VTuber of the Year or whatever at the Streamer Awards, even though he asked not to be in that category. But like, I really didn't know anything about his content. I really didn't watch any of it, and I just kind of wanted to let him be. And then these clips get forced into my face on my timeline, and I kind of watch them, and I'm like, okay, not really the best look on it, and and I wouldn't even have made this video if it was like a one-off thing of just like a one single clip that I saw of it. But because like I got compacted to see like a bunch of these clips, it is something that I want to just speak about. And like hopefully it's not a recurring trend, or hopefully he, course corrects to this away from like this type of content he's doing and like these types of jokes that he's making. Do I think he's gonna? Probably not. I mean, look at how many viewers he has. Look at how much money he's making. It's very profitable for him to continue doing this. And once again, if any of his defenders find this video somehow, some way, they probably won't be the biggest fans of what I'm saying anyway. And I have to white knight for myself in the comments if I'm feeling like I have the time to. I'm not even saying like this is an attack on his fans per se. I mean, like, I don't know the age demographics of it. Maybe they're just a bunch of children and like they're just kind of confused and stupid, and that's like completely fine. That just that happened to me when I was 13 years old. This is the type of content that I probably would have watched when I was 13. And so if that's like the case, then like maybe they'll just grow out of it and then realize the wrongs of the content that they consumed. Maybe not. Maybe they're a bunch of like 25-year-old dudes who are watching this and having fun with it. I don't really know. But this is not an attack on any viewers. It's more just specifically focusing on the burnt peanut himself and in a isolated standpoint and just everything that like of the content that he perpetuates and lets go and the jokes and the content that he makes. And just voicing my discontentment with it overall. That's really it. That's all I have for today. So thank you for watching. Goodbye.